Before the world asks anything from you, there is a quiet moment that belongs only to you. In that moment, your mind is soft, your heart is open, and your spirit is listening. What you place into yourself in that first part of the day matters more than most people realize. A peaceful thought placed in the morning can stay with you for hours. A fearful thought placed in the morning can also follow you, shaping the way you speak, the way you choose, the way you react, and the way you feel about yourself. This is why the morning is not small. It is sacred. It is not just the beginning of another day. It is the beginning of your inner direction. It is the place where you choose what kind of energy will lead you. Many people wake up and enter the day too quickly. Their eyes open and the mind starts running. It runs to problems, duties, old pain, pressure, fear, and unfinished thoughts. Before the body is even fully awake, the mind is already carrying a load, and then the whole day begins under that weight. The heart feels tight, the breath becomes short. The body moves, but the spirit feels tired. This happens so often that many people think it is normal. They think this is just how life is, but it does not have to be this way. A strong and peaceful mind is not built by accident. It is built by what you choose again and again, especially in the early moments of the day. The truth is simple. The way you begin is powerful. If you begin with fear, you may spend the day trying to calm yourself. If you begin with peace, you carry a quiet strength into everything that follows. If you begin with pressure, you may rush through the day and feel that nothing is enough. If you begin with trust, your mind becomes steady, your body softens, and even hard moments feel easier to move through. You do not need a perfect life to have a peaceful morning. You don't. Not need all the answers. You do not need to know exactly how everything will work out. You only need to be willing to begin your day from a better place. There is great strength in a peaceful mind. Many people think strength means pushing, forcing, defending, and always staying hard. But true strength feels different. True strength is calm. It does not panic so easily. It does not fall apart every time something changes. It does not need to control everything to feel safe. A strong mind can stay gentle. A strong mind can pause. A strong mind can breathe before speaking. A strong mind can choose peace, even when there is noise around it. This kind of strength is not loud, yet it changes everything. It changes how you move through life. It changes the way you carry your energy. It changes the way you treat yourself. There is also great beauty in a peaceful mind. A peaceful mind notices life differently. It sees more clearly. It feels more deeply without being overwhelmed. It can notice a small blessing. It can hear wisdom inside a simple moment. It can receive love. It can let go of what does not belong. It can sit with silence and not be afraid of it. In a peaceful mind, the heart has room to speak. In a peaceful mind, healing begins. In a peaceful mind, you stop living only from habit, fear, and old pain, and you begin to live from presence, trust, and choice. This morning can be different, not because the world suddenly changed, but because you are willing to meet the day in a new way. That is where real change starts. It starts inside. It starts with one breath, one thought, one gentle choice. It starts when you stop giving the first moments of your day to stress and begin giving them to peace. It starts when you understand that your mind is not meant to be filled with struggle from the moment you wake. Your mind is a garden. Your morning is the time when the first seeds are planted. Whatever you place there will grow through the day. If you plant worry, you may spend the day feeding worry. If you plant trust, you may spend the day walking with more ease. If you plant kindness, you may notice more kindness in yourself and in others. If you plant peace, peace begins to spread through your thoughts, your body, your choices, and your energy. Think for a moment about how much of life is shaped by what happens inside you. Two people can walk into the same day and live it in very different ways. One may see only pressure, delay, and problems. The other may see lessons, moments of grace and space to breathe. The outer day may be the same, but the inner experience is not the same at all. The mind creates the feeling of the day. That is why your morning matters so much. It is where you begin to decide how you will experience life. The day may bring many things. Some will be easy, some may be hard. But when your mind begins in peace, you are not meeting the day empty. You are meeting it rooted. You deserve that kind of beginning. You deserve to wake up and feel that your first duty is not to fear, rush, or prove. Your first duty is to return to yourself, to come back to your breath, to come back to your center, to remember that before you answer to the world, you belong to life. And life is not asking you to begin in panic. Life is asking you to begin in presence. It is asking you to meet the morning with softness and strength together. It is asking you to remember that the quality of your mind shapes the quality of your day. There is something deeply healing about beginning the morning with intention. Intention is not pressure. Intention is direction. It is the quiet choice that says, today I will not let fear lead me. Today I will not rush away from myself. Today I will build my mind with care. Today I will protect the first moments of my day. Today I will choose thoughts that support me. Today I will treat peace as something valuable. When you live this way, the morning becomes more than a routine. It becomes a spiritual practice. It becomes a meeting between your soul and the new day. It becomes the place where you remember who you are beneath the noise. A strong and peaceful mind is built in small moments that seem almost too simple to matter. The way you breathe when you first wake, the first thing you say to yourself, the speed of your body as you rise, the way you speak to your own heart, the thoughts you allow to stay, the thoughts you decide to release. These things seem small, yet they are not small at all. They are shaping your nervous system, your energy, your self-worth, your ability to stay calm, and your power to choose love over fear. It is often the gentle things that change life most deeply. You do not have to become someone else to build a better mind. You do not have to earn peace. You do not have to wait until life is easier. You begin with what is already here. You begin with this breath. You begin with this morning. You begin with your willingness to stop treating your inner world as an afterthought. So many people spend their whole lives caring for duties, people, work, plans, and problems while ignoring the place where all of life is experienced, the mind and the heart. But when the inner world is cared for, the outer world becomes easier to meet. Not always easier in what it brings, but easier in how it is carried. There is wisdom in learning to pause before the day takes over. There is power in not letting the first voice you hear be fear. There is healing in choosing a calmer beginning. You may not control every event that comes later, but you can choose how you greet the morning. You can choose whether the first gift you give yourself is stress or stillness. You can choose whether your day begins with an old wound or a new breath. You can choose whether your first inner words are harsh or kind. These are sacred choices. These are life-shaping choices. And perhaps this is what your spirit has been needing all along. Not more pressure, not more noise, not more hard effort. Perhaps what your spirit has been asking for is a softer beginning, a truer beginning, a beginning that says, I do not have to begin the day at war with myself. I can begin in peace. I can begin in trust. I can begin in quiet strength. I can begin with love. When you begin this way, something inside you changes. You do not feel so pushed by the world. You do not feel so easily shaken. You begin to carry a kind of inner room around with you. Even in busy hours, you can return to that room. Even when life gets loud, you remember the calm place where your day started. This is not about pretending everything is perfect. It is not about denying pain or pressure. It is about refusing to hand your first sacred moments of the day over to fear. It is about saying, before anything else, I will meet myself with care. I will give my mind something clean to stand on. I will give my heart something true to hold. I will begin my day in a way that supports the person I am becoming. This is how a strong and peaceful mind is built, not all at once, not in one perfect morning, but little by little, day by day, through loving practice. There is no need to rush this. A peaceful morning is not created by forcing yourself into some perfect spiritual mood. It is created by honesty, by gentleness, by small true choices. It is created when you notice the old way and choose differently. It is created when you feel anxiety rising and still choose one slow breath. It is created when your mind wants to run ahead and you call it back with kindness. It is created when you remember that peace is not far away. Peace begins in the way you start. So today, before the world enters fully, before the noise rises, before the pressure begins, take this truth into your heart. Your morning mind matters. The first minutes of your day carry power. The first thoughts shape direction. The first breaths shape the body. The first words shape the inner atmosphere. The first choices set the tone. If you want a stronger mind, build it in the morning. If you want a more peaceful heart, return to it in the morning. If you want to meet life with more grace, begin there, before anything else, in the quiet space where the day is still tender and your spirit is still close enough to hear. The mind in the morning is like fresh ground. It is open, it is ready. It receives more deeply than people often know. What enters there does not stay only for a minute. It can shape the way the whole day feels. This is why a single fearful thought in the morning can grow into many more by afternoon. This is why one calm moment can carry surprising strength into the busiest hours. The morning mind is not just the first part of your thinking, it is the foundation of your inner day. Many people say it is only a morning, but mornings have power because they arrive before, or the world fully takes hold of you. Later in the day, you answer messages, duties, needs, plans, worries, and people. Later in the day, your energy is being pulled in many directions. But the morning is different. The morning is the one part of the day where you have the greatest chance to set your inner direction before outside life begins to shape it for you. This is why the morning mind matters. It is not only about feeling calm for a few minutes. It is about giving yourself a stronger center before the movement of life begins. When the morning begins in stress, the whole system feels it. The body tightens, the heart beats faster, the mind becomes quick and sharp in the wrong way. Small things feel bigger than they are. Little delays feel personal, simple tasks feel heavy. The person is not weaker because of the tasks. The person is weaker because the inner base was not cared for. A stressed morning can make life feel harder than it needs to feel. It can drain energy before the day has even truly begun. It can make you feel behind before you have even started. This is why so many people feel tired so early. Their day did not begin with rest and direction. It began with pressure. A rushed mind becomes a reactive mind. It responds before it feels. It speaks before it settles. It believes every thought that passes through. It does not stop to ask, is this true? Is this kind? Is this helpful? Is this mine to carry right now? It simply follows the loudest thought, and in the morning, if the loudest thought is fear, then fear leads. If the loudest thought is lack, then lack leads. If the loudest thought is pressure, then pressure leads. The day becomes shaped by whatever takes the first seat inside you. This is why people can wake with no real problem in front of them and still feel heavy. Sometimes the heaviness is not from the day itself. It is from the mind entering the day in an unguarded way. Old worries return. Old beliefs rise. Old fear speaks first. The body listens. The heart reacts. And the person begins the day already carrying yesterday's pain. But there is another way. When you take even a little time to guide your morning mind, you stop living only by old mental habit. You begin to live by conscious choice. A peaceful morning mind does not mean you never have stress. It means stress is not the first thing that claims you. It means you remember your center before the world tries to pull you away from it. It means you give your body a chance to soften before you ask it to perform. It means you give your heart a kind word before you ask it to be strong. It means you tell your mind what kind of day you want to build. This matters more than most people think, because so much of human life is lived from repeated patterns. The morning is where patterns are either repeated or changed. If every morning begins with checking problems, rehearsing fear, or speaking harshly to yourself, then a mind learns that this is normal. It begins to expect tension. It begins to prepare for struggle. Even when there is no real danger, the body acts as if there is. This is how people live in constant inner pressure without realizing that much of it begins with the way they start their day. But if the morning begins with breath, stillness, gentle direction, and calm words, the mind learns something different. It learns safety. It learns steadiness. It learns that peace is possible. It learns that the day can begin without panic. The morning mind matters because it shapes your relationship with yourself, and that relationship shapes everything else. If your first inner voice is critical, unkind, or demanding, then you begin the day feeling that you must prove your worth. You move through the hours trying to earn peace, earn rest, earn approval, earn enoughness. But if your first inner voice is kind, steady, and loving, then you begin the day already rooted in worth. You do not have to chase your value all day long. You begin from it. This changes how you walk, how you speak, what you accept, and how you recover when something goes wrong. People often search for peace later in the day after the mind is already tired, the body already stressed, and the energy already scattered. They want to calm themselves at the end, and that is beautiful too. But there is deep wisdom in beginning with what you hope to feel later. If you want peace by the afternoon, sow peace in the morning. If you want patience later, begin with patience early. If you want trust when the day becomes uncertain, speak trust into yourself before uncertainty arrives. This is what it means to build your day from the inside out. The morning mind also matters because it affects how clearly you can hear your deeper wisdom. There is a quiet voice within you that does not speak through panic. It does not speak through noise. It speaks through stillness, truth, and calm attention. When the mind wakes and runs too quickly, this deeper voice gets covered. But in a peaceful morning, when you slow down enough to notice your breath and feel your own presence, that inner wisdom becomes easier to hear. You may not hear it in words. You may feel it as calm. You may feel it as knowing. You may feel it as a simple sense that you are supported and guided. That feeling matters. It changes how you move through your day. A well-guided morning mind makes better choices, not because it becomes perfect, but because it becomes less ruled by fear. It can pause, it can observe, it can choose. It does not take every emotion as an order. It does not treat every passing thought as truth. It develops space, and that space is powerful. In that space, you can decide not to speak from anger. In that space, you can decide not to believe a fearful thought. In that space, you can remember what really matters. A strong mind is not one that it never feels. A strong mind is one that knows how to stay present with what it feels without becoming lost in it. And the morning is where that strength begins to grow. The morning mind matters because it creates momentum. Life has movement. Thoughts have movement. Feelings have movement. Once the day begins in a certain direction, it often keeps going that way unless something interrupts it. This is why it feels easier to stay in gratitude when you began in gratitude. This is why it feels easier to stay rushed when you began in rushing. What begins the day often gathers force as the hours pass. So when you choose peace in the morning, you are not only choosing a nice feeling for a few minutes, you are creating momentum toward a better day. This does not mean every morning must be perfect. Some mornings are tender, some are heavy, some carry sadness, some begin after difficult nights, some begin with real struggle. But even then, the principle still holds. The morning mind matters because whatever is true that morning needs care. If the mind feels afraid, it needs gentleness. If the heart feels tired, it needs kindness. If the body feels heavy, it needs patience. A strong and peaceful morning is not about pretending you feel something you do not feel. It is about meeting what is there in a way that supports healing instead of adding more pressure. The mind believes what it hears often, especially when it is still quiet and open. So if you begin the day by saying, "I cannot handle this, nothing ever changes, I am already behind, this day will be too much," the mind starts building around those words. The body follows, the emotions follow, the energy follows. But if you begin by saying, "I am here, I will take one step at a time, peace is with me, I am guided today," the same thing happens in a different direction. The mind begins to organize itself around support rather than fear. This is why your morning language matters. Words are not empty, they shape experience. The morning also matters because it teaches the nervous system what kind of world you believe you are waking into. If the first thing you do is rush, check problems, worry, and tighten, your system receives the message that danger is here, pressure is here. There is no room to rest. But if the first thing you do is breathe, sit still for a moment, place your attention gently on the present, and speak to yourself with care, your system receives a different message. You are safe enough to begin calmly. You are not under attack. There is room to breathe. There is still time to be present. This changes the body. It changes the mind. It changes the whole day. And there is another reason the morning mind matters. It is because the world is always trying to shape your attention. It wants your speed, your reaction, your fear, your focus, your urgency. If you do not claim your morning, something else will claim it for you. If you do not tell your mind where to rest, the world will tell it where to scatter. If you do not fill your spirit with truth, fear will try to fill the space. This is why protecting your morning is an act of self-respect. It is a way of saying, my mind matters, my peace matters, my spirit matters, and I will not give my first energy away without care. There are many people who go through life feeling that peace is something they must search for later, somewhere outside themselves, after everything is done. But peace can be practiced now, early, before the list begins, before the pressure grows, before the day takes shape. The morning gives you a doorway into that practice. It gives you a chance to return to the truth that you are not only a person with duties, you are also a being with inner life, and that inner life needs care if you want to live with strength. Even 5 quiet minutes in the morning can begin to change the day. One deep breath can interrupt fear. One loving sentence can soften an old pattern. One moment of stillness can keep you from rushing headfirst into stress. It may seem too simple, but simple things often carry the greatest power because they can be practiced again and again. This is how peace becomes part of you, not through one dramatic moment, but through faithful, gentle repetition. So when you think about building a strong and peaceful mind, do not overlook the first moments of your day. Do not think they are too small to matter. They matter because they shape the ground you stand on. They matter because they set the tone of your nervous system, your thoughts, your choices, and your spiritual center. They matter because they help you become less reactive and more rooted. They matter because they teach you how to live by intention instead of habit. They matter because your mind is listening from the very beginning. Let the morning become a place where you choose yourself in a higher way. Let it become a place where you stop feeding fear before the day begins. Let it become a place where you remember that peace is strength. Let it become a place where your thoughts are guided with love. Let it become a place where you speak to your life before life starts speaking loudly to you. Because when the morning mind is cared for, the whole day begins to carry a different light. The same tasks may still be there. The same world may still be there, but you will not be entering it in the same way. You will be entering it with more steadiness, more softness, and more power than before. The first lesson is simple, and because it is simple, many people forget how powerful it is. Do not rush into the day. Before you rise into movement, return to stillness. Before you answer to the world, listen inward. Before you let your thoughts run in every direction, pause. This pause is not wasted time. It is preparation. It is protection. It is wisdom. It is the way you tell your mind, we are not going to begin to o'day in panic. We are going to begin in presence. Stillness is not doing nothing. Stillness is creating room. It is the space where your scattered energy gathers. It is the place where your heart can be heard. It is the moment where yesterday loosens and today begins with intention. Many people think they do not have time for stillness, but the truth is they do not have time to live without it. A day that begins in rushing often asks for even more energy later. A day that begins in stillness gives something back. It gives clarity. It gives steadiness. It gives a softer nervous system. It gives the mind a chance to wake gently rather than violently. When you wake in the morning, there is often a thin, quiet space before your thoughts fully speed up. That space is precious. It is the doorway into a better beginning. If you reach too quickly for noise, for fear, for planning, for checking, for reacting, the doorway closes. But if you stay for a moment in that quiet place, something beautiful happens. you begin to feel yourself again. Not your duties, not your pressure, not your roles, but your actual presence. You remember that you are here. You remember that this day is not only something you must get through, it is also something you get to shape from within. Stillness teaches the mind that it does not need to run the moment it wakes. This is a deep lesson because many people have trained themselves to move from sleep straight into mental labor. The mind wakes and begins carrying. It carries lists, worries, memory, fear, and future plans. It does not ask whether it is ready. It simply begins the old habit. Stillness interrupts that habit. It says, just for this moment, I will not chase, I will not predict, I will not fix, I will sit with what is real. I will be here. That one choice can change the whole feel of the day. There is healing in stillness because much of the suffering in the mind comes from never stopping long enough to notice what is happening inside. When you pause in the morning, you begin to see your mind more clearly. You notice whether it feels afraid, tired, busy, heavy, hopeful, peaceful, or tense. You notice whether your heart feels open or closed. You notice whether you are already speaking harshly to yourself. You notice the tone of your inner life. Without stillness, these things go unseen. And what is unseen often leads us without our knowing. But when you become still, you can begin to choose. A quiet morning moment does not need to be grand. It can be 1 minute sitting at the edge of the bed. It can be a hand placed softly on the heart. It can be eyes closed for a few breaths. It can be sitting near a window and letting the morning light touch your face. It can be simply not rushing. The power is not in making the moment look special. The power is in the quality of attention you bring to it. A small, true moment of stillness is more powerful than a long, rushed ritual done without presence. The second lesson grows naturally from the first. Return to the breath before doing anything else. Breath is one of the easiest paths back to peace because it is always with you. You do not need special tools. You do not need perfect conditions. You do not need advanced knowledge. Your breath is already here, waiting to support you. It has been with you through every joy, every fear, every loss, every beginning, and every healing. The breath knows how to bring you back to the present when the mind has gone too far into fear or hurry. Most people breathe all day without noticing it. The body keeps living, but the person is not truly receiving the breath. In the morning, this matters deeply. If the first part of your day is lived with shallow breathing, the body receives the message that it must prepare for stress. The chest stays tight, the shoulders rise, the heart feels hurried, the mind becomes even quicker and less grounded. But when you begin with a slower, fuller breath, the body receives another message. There is space, there is time, there is safety. There is no need to enter the day in alarm. Breath is simple, but it is never small. One deep breath can soften the body. One deep breath can interrupt a fearful thought. One deep breath can stop the mind from rushing too far ahead. One deep breath can help you remember where you are. It is such a gentle practice, yet it has the power to shift the whole atmosphere inside you. When you breathe with awareness in the morning, you are doing more than filling the lungs. You are building a bridge between the body, the mind, and the spirit. You are saying, I am here, I am alive, and I am willing to begin this day with care. A slow morning breath teaches you how to arrive. So many people wake up physically before they arrive emotionally or spiritually. Their body is out of bed, but their mind is somewhere else. It is in yesterday, it is in tomorrow, it is in fear, it is in planning, it is in memory. Breath calls all of you back into one place. It gathers you, it unites you. It helps you begin the day whole instead of scattered. This matters because a scattered beginning often leads to a scattered day, but an arrived beginning leads to greater steadiness. Try to imagine how different a morning feels when the first act is not rushing but breathing. Instead of waking and tightening, you wake and soften. Instead of waking and reacting, you wake and receive. Instead of waking and fearing the day, you wake and enter it with awareness. This changes more than mood. It changes your whole relationship with life. It reminds you that you do not have to be thrown into the day. You can step into it consciously. You can carry your spirit with you. You can move from presence rather than from panic. There is also something deeply spiritual about the breath. Breath is invisible yet powerful. It cannot be held forever. It must be received and released. There is wisdom in that. Each inhale says receive. Each exhale says let go. Each breath teaches trust. You do not have to force the next breath to come. You allow it. You receive it. Then you release it again. In this simple pattern, there is a lesson for the whole day. Receive what is here. Release what is not needed. Trust that life continues to support you. Begin again, breath by breath. When you sit in stillness and breathe consciously in the morning, you begin to train your mind to stay with what is real. Fear often lives in imagined futures. Regret often lives in the past. But the breath is always here, always now. When you follow the breath, the mind slowly learns how to return to the present. This is one of the greatest gifts you can give yourself, because so much suffering comes from leaving the present too quickly. The morning breath becomes a doorway back to the place where peace actually lives. Some people think peace must be created through great effort, but peace often enters through simple permission. Permission to be still. Permission to breathe. Permission to not solve everything in the first 5 minutes of the day. Permission to wake gently. Permission to let the mind settle before asking it to carry so much. These permissions are healing because many people have spent years believing they must wake into effort, performance, and pressure. To begin with, stillness and breath is to choose a kinder way. You may notice that when you first try this, the mind still wants to run. It may bring up your list. It may remind you of a fear. It may say this is too simple to matter. It may say there is no time. Be gentle when this happens. The practice is not to make the mind perfect. The practice is to lovingly return. Return to the stillness. Return to the breath. Return to the body. Return to this moment. Every return builds inner strength. Every return teaches the mind a new way. Every return is part of how peace becomes more natural inside you. There is no need to force the breath. Let it be soft at first. Let it be natural. Then invite it a little deeper. Inhale slowly and feel the chest and belly receive. Exhale slowly and feel the body loosen. Stay there. Feel the breath moving like a quiet wave through you. Let each inhale remind you that life is still giving to you. Let each exhale remind you that you do not need to hold everything so tightly. In this simple act, the body starts to trust the morning. The heart starts to soften. The mind begins to rest in something steady. Stillness and breath are not only things you practice in the morning, they become qualities you carry into the rest of the day. When you begin in stillness, you are more likely to pause before reacting. When you begin with breath, you are more likely to return to it when stress rises. This is why these first two lessons are so important. They are not just beautiful ideas. They are tools for living. They are ways of protecting your peace in a busy world. They are ways of staying connected to yourself while life moves around you. A person who knows how to become still is less easily ruled by noise. A person who knows how to return to the breath is less easily carried away by fear. These are quiet strengths, but they are real strengths. They help you stay centered in moments that would once have shaken you more deeply. They give you a place to return to when life becomes uncertain. They remind you that peace is not only something outside you, it is something you can practice inside yourself, beginning each morning. You may have spent many years waking too fast, breathing too shallowly, and entering the day already far from yourself. If so, there is nothing to judge. There is only a new invitation now. Begin differently. Sit for a moment. Be still. Breathe before speaking. Breathe before checking. Breathe before planning. Breathe before carrying. Let the day meet a calmer version of you. Let your own spirit meet you before the world does. If you want to build a strong mind, do not begin the day by throwing it into noise. If you want to build a peaceful heart, do not begin the day by starving it of stillness. Begin where peace begins. Begin in quiet. Begin with breath. Begin with the simple understanding that the first energy of the day is precious and should be handled with care. The world will ask many things of you later. But right now, before all of that, give yourself this gift: a pause, a breath, a moment to gather, a moment to remember, a moment to begin from within rather than from pressure. Maybe this is the new morning practice your life has been waiting for. Not something hard, not something that feels far away, just this. Wake, pause, breathe, and begin with peace. Let stillness be your first teacher. Let breath be your first guide. Let them shape the way you rise into the day. Let them help you build a mind that is strong, because it is calm, and peaceful because it is deeply rooted. The more you practice this, the more natural it becomes. The body starts to expect gentleness instead of alarm. The mind starts to settle more quickly. The heart starts to trust the beginning of the day again. Morning no longer feels like something that attacks you. It becomes something you enter with intention. It becomes a place of renewal. It becomes a place where you remember that before you do anything, before you go anywhere, before you answer anyone, you can return to yourself. So let the first lesson live in you. Do not rush into the day. Let the second lesson live in you. Return to the breath before doing anything else. These lessons may seem small, yet they carry the kind of wisdom that can change the way your whole life feels. They help you move from force to flow, from reaction to choice, from tension to trust, and in that shift, little by little, morning by morning, you begin to build the strong, peaceful mind your spirit has always deserved. After stillness and breath, the next thing to notice is your first thought. This matters more than many people know. The first thought of the morning is often like the first drop of color placed into clear water. It begins to spread. It shapes the tone. It touches everything that comes after it. If the first thought is heavy, the heart can begin to feel heavy too. If the first thought is fearful, the body may tighten before the day has even started. If the first thought is peaceful, trusting, or kind, then the mind has something strong and gentle to stand on. Many people wake up and do not notice their first thoughts at all. The thoughts simply arrive, and the person follows them. One thought leads to another. A small worry becomes a larger one. A memory becomes sadness. A task becomes pressure. A simple morning becomes a race. This happens so quickly that it can feel natural. But you are not meant to be pulled in every direction by the first thoughts that appear. You are allowed to notice them. You are allowed to guide them. You are allowed to decide what kind of inner voice will lead your day. Some first thoughts come from old habit, not present truth. They come from yesterday's fear, old pain, old pressure, old beliefs, and old ways of seeing life. You wake up, and before anything has happened, the mind says something like, "This day will be hard. I am already behind. I have too much to do. Nothing changes. I cannot handle this." These thoughts may feel familiar, but familiar does not mean true. A thought can be repeated many times and still not be the voice of wisdom. That is why watching your first thoughts is such an important morning practice. It helps you separate habit from truth. A strong and peaceful mind does not believe every thought that enters. It learns to pause and listen. It asks, "Is this thought helping me or harming me? Is this thought creating peace or feeding fear? Is this thought coming from love or from old pain?" This does not mean you fight your thoughts. It means you stop letting them rule you without question. It means you understand that the mind needs direction, especially early in the day. Just as a garden needs care if you want flowers instead of weeds, the morning mind needs loving attention if you want peace instead of confusion. The first thoughts of the day often carry great emotional power because the mind is still soft from sleep. It has not yet fully built its walls. It is more open, more receiving, and more easily shaped. This is why morning thoughts matter so much. They do not stay small. They settle into the body. They affect the breath. They shape your mood. They change how you look at yourself and at life. A fearful thought can make the world feel unsafe. A loving thought can make the same world feel possible again. A grateful thought can open the heart. A hopeless thought can close it. This is why watching your first thoughts is not a small practice. It is part of building your life from the inside. If you wake up and notice a heavy thought, do not be afraid of that moment. Do not judge yourself for it. Just notice it gently. Say to yourself, "This is the thought that arrived, but it does not have to lead me." That is a powerful moment. That is the moment where you stop living only by habit and begin living by choice. You may not be able to stop every thought from appearing, but you can choose which thoughts you feed, which thoughts you repeat, and which thoughts you place at the center of your morning. There is great peace in learning that you can answer your own thoughts. If the mind says, "I am already late in life," you can answer, "I begin again today." If the mind says, "Something will go wrong," you can answer, "I choose trust over fear." If the mind says, "I am not enough," you can answer, "I am growing and I am worthy of love now." These answers are not about pretending. They are about guiding your inner world toward truth, healing, and strength. They are about refusing to let the oldest and loudest thought become the ruler of your day. This is where simple morning affirmations become so powerful. An affirmation is not just a pretty sentence. It is a direction. It is a seed. It is a way of helping the mind remember a better path. When you wake and say softly, "Today is a good day for peace," you are giving the mind a place to land. When you say, "I begin this day with trust," you are teaching the heart how to open. When you say, "Life is supporting me today," you are loosening fear before it grows too strong. These simple thoughts become anchors. They help the mind stop drifting into old darkness. The beauty of a morning affirmation is that it does not need to be complicated to be powerful. In fact, the simplest words often go deepest. The mind does not need long speeches in the first minutes of the day. It needs clarity. It needs gentleness. It needs truth spoken in a way the heart can hold. A sentence like, "Today I choose peace," can change the whole shape of the morning. A sentence like, "I am safe in this moment," can soften the body. A sentence like, "I trust this day to unfold one step at a time," can calm the mind before it starts racing too far ahead. What matters is not saying the words quickly and forgetting them. What matters is feeling them, letting them enter, letting them become more than sound. If you say, "Today is a good day for peace," pause and let those words settle inside you. Ask your body to hear them. Ask your breath to carry them. Ask your heart to believe that peace is possible now, not later, not after everything is solved, but now. If you say, "I begin this day with trust," let yourself feel what trust means. It means you do not have to know everything right now. It means you do not have to hold the whole day in your hands at once. It means you can begin softly and still be strong. There is a reason so many people feel trapped in the same emotional patterns. Often, they begin each day with the same unexamined thoughts. The morning becomes a place where old pain repeats itself, but the morning can also become the place where a new pattern begins. That is the gift of awareness. The moment you notice what you have been saying to yourself, you become free to choose something better. You become free to speak new truth into your life. You become free to stop feeding fear before the day has even begun. Watching your first thoughts is an act of self-respect. It says, "My mind matters too much to be left unattended. My peace matters too much to be shaped only by old fear. My morning is too sacred to be given over to doubt without question." This is how strength grows, not by forcing the mind into silence, but by becoming conscious of what you allow to grow there. A strong mind is not an empty mind. It is a guided mind. A peaceful mind is not a mind that never has hard thoughts. It is a mind that knows how to return to truth. You may find that some mornings your thoughts are naturally lighter. Other mornings they may feel heavy the moment you wake. Both kinds of mornings are part of being human. The practice stays the same. Watch gently, notice honestly, guide lovingly. Do not turn morning awareness into another form of pressure. This is not about becoming perfect. It is about becoming awake to your own inner voice. It is about learning to meet yourself before fear does. Sometimes the first thought of the day comes with great emotion. It may bring sadness, worry, loneliness, or doubt. In those moments, begin by breathing, then place a kinder thought beside the hard one. You do not have to argue with the fear. Just give yourself something truer to hold. If the mind says, "I feel overwhelmed," let your deeper wisdom answer, "I will take this day one step at a time." If the mind says, "I feel alone," answer, "Life is with me here." If the mind says, "I do not know how to do this," answer, "Clarity will come as I move forward with peace." A kinder thought does not erase the feeling at once, but it changes the direction of the morning. It is also helpful to remember that not every thought deserves your energy. Some thoughts are like passing clouds. They arrive, they move, and they disappear if you do not hold them. But when you grab them, repeat them, and believe them without question, they begin to fill the whole sky. Watching your first thoughts teaches you how to let some thoughts pass without building your morning around them. It teaches you how to say, "That thought is here, but I do not need to give it my whole day." As this practice deepens, you begin to notice something beautiful. Your mornings become less crowded. There is more room inside, more space between thoughts, more choice in what you repeat, more peace in what you believe. You stop waking up and falling straight into mental noise. You begin waking up into awareness, and that awareness becomes strength. It helps you move through the day with less fear and more steadiness. It helps you protect your peace before the world asks anything from you. So let these two lessons live together in your morning. Watch your first thoughts. Choose them with care. Let the first voice of the day be one that supports your healing. Let the first message of the day be one of peace. Let your mind hear something better than fear. Let your heart receive something softer than pressure. Let your spirit begin the day with a truth it can carry. Today is a good day for peace. Today is a good day for trust. Today is a good day to begin again in a kinder way. After you become aware of your first thoughts, the next lesson is just as important. Speak kindly to yourself. The way you speak to yourself in the morning becomes the emotional language of the day. If your inner voice is hard, sharp, and demanding, the whole day can feel like something you must survive. But if your inner voice is gentle, steady, and loving, the day becomes something you can move through with more ease. Kindness is not weakness. Kindness is nourishment. It is one of the ways the mind becomes strong enough to stay peaceful. Many people do not realize how harsh they are with themselves, especially in the morning. They wake up and begin with criticism before they even step into the day. The mind says, "You should have done more. You look tired. You are too slow. You are behind. You need to work harder. You are not doing enough." These words may seem normal because they have been repeated for years, but they leave a mark. They drain energy. They tighten the body. They create shame where there could have been peace. They turn the morning into a place of pressure instead of healing. Imagine speaking to someone you love the way many people speak to themselves. You would hear immediately how painful it sounds. You would know that such words do not help the heart grow. Yet many people give this kind of voice to themselves every day. They think harshness will make them better, stronger, or more prepared. But the truth is often the opposite. Harshness closes the heart. Harshness creates fear. Harshness makes the mind tense and tired. A mind that is always under attack from within does not feel safe. And when the mind does not feel safe, peace becomes harder to hold. There is a different kind of strength available to you. It is the strength that comes from kindness. Kindness does not mean you stop growing. It does not mean you stop taking responsibility. It means you choose to grow without cruelty. It means you stop treating your own heart like an enemy. It means you stop trying to build your life with words that break you down. Real growth is supported by love. Real healing is supported by patience. Real peace is supported by a kind of inner voice that says, "I am here with you. We will move through this gently. You do not have to fear yourself anymore." The morning is one of the best times to practice self-kindness because the mind is listening so closely then. The first words you speak to yourself can become a blessing or a burden. They can open your energy or close it. They can soften your body or make it tense. They can help you feel worthy or make you spend the day trying to prove your worth. This is why the morning voice matters. It is not only about how you feel in that one moment. It becomes part of how you carry yourself through the rest of the day. Kindness begins with simple things. It begins with the tone of your inner voice. It begins with the way you respond when you feel tired. It begins with whether you shame yourself for what you have not yet become or bless yourself for the effort you are making now. It begins with whether you greet your own life like a burden or like something precious. A kind morning voice may say, I am allowed to begin slowly. It may say, I am doing the best I can and I can still grow. It may say, my peace matters today. It may say, I do not have to push myself with fear. It may say, I will speak to myself the way healing speaks. There is deep wisdom in learning to become a safe place for yourself. The world may not always speak gently. Life may not always move easily. Other people may not always understand what you are carrying. That is why your relationship with yourself matters so much. If you can become a place of kindness inside your own mind, then no matter what happens around you, you have somewhere to return. You have a voice within that does not punish you for being human. You have a place within that allows rest, patience, and new beginnings. Some people fear that if they become kind to themselves, they will become lazy, weak, or careless. But true kindness does not make you careless. It makes you clear. It makes you steady. It gives you the emotional safety needed to grow honestly. Fear may push for a while, but love sustains. Fear may force movement, but love creates lasting change. A person who is spoken to kindly inside does not need to waste so much energy defending against their own thoughts. That energy becomes available for healing, creativity, wisdom, and peace. It is important to understand that self-kindness is not only about feeling better, it is also about telling the truth in a more loving way. You can be honest without being cruel. You can see your struggles without turning them into shame. You can admit that you are tired without calling yourself weak. You can notice that something needs to change without telling yourself you are a failure. This is maturity. This is emotional wisdom. This is the kind of inner life that allows peace to stay. In the morning, when you first meet yourself, ask this simple question: how do I want to speak to my own heart today? That question can change everything. It can stop the old automatic voice. It can create a pause where love can enter. It can remind you that you do not have to repeat yesterday's harshness. You can choose another tone. You can choose another language. You can choose to begin the day with support instead of attack. If you notice a critical thought, do not make another war out of it. Just answer it differently. If the mind says, you are not enough, answer, I am growing with love. If the mind says you are failing, answer, I am learning one day at a time. If the mind says you should already be better, answer, healing has its own pace, and I honor where I am today. These are not empty words. They are the beginning of a new inner relationship. They are how you teach your mind that it can stop using pain as a tool of motivation. There is something powerful that happens when you begin to speak kindly to yourself each morning. The body starts to trust you. The heart begins to soften. The nervous system feels less under attack. Your day no longer begins with inner violence. It begins with companionship. It begins with the feeling that you are not alone inside yourself. That feeling can change how you face everything else. Hard moments still come, but you meet them with more steadiness because you are no longer fighting yourself at the same time. Self-kindness also changes how you see your worth. When the inner voice is always critical, worth begins to feel far away, always something to earn. But kindness reminds you that worth is not something you win through suffering. It is something already alive in you. You are worthy of peace now. You are worthy of gentle thoughts now. You are worthy of compassion now. You are worthy of a beginning that does not wound you. When you remember this, the morning becomes less about proving and more about receiving. You begin to receive your own care. This is especially important on difficult mornings. On the mornings when you feel low, anxious, sad, tired, or uncertain, self-kindness becomes medicine. That is not the time to speak harder to yourself. That is the time to become more gentle. That is the time to say, I know this morning feels heavy and I will not add more pain to it. I will move slowly. I will breathe. I will take one thing at a time. I will not leave myself alone in fear. These words create inner shelter. They allow you to keep moving without abandoning your own heart. Even your body responds to the way you speak to yourself. A kind tone softens the jaw, the shoulders, the chest. It changes the way you breathe. It changes the way you stand and move. A harsh tone does the opposite. It tightens everything. It puts the body into defense. It makes simple things feel harder. This is why self-kindness is not only emotional, it is physical, it is spiritual, it affects the whole person. A peaceful mind needs a kind voice inside it if it is going to stay peaceful. Sometimes kindness means and saying very little. It may be enough to place your hand on your heart and whisper, I am here. I am with you. It may be enough to say, this day begins gently. It may be enough to say, I choose to treat myself with care. Simple words can go very deep when they are spoken with honesty. The heart does not always need long explanations. It needs to know it is safe. It needs to know it is not going to be pushed, judged, or shamed the moment the day begins. As this practice grows, you may notice that your whole life starts to change in small but powerful ways. You become less drawn to what harms you. You recover from hard moments more quickly. You stop taking every mistake as proof that you are unworthy. You speak to others with more patience because you have more patience within yourself. You stop building the day on a foundation of criticism. Instead, you build it on understanding, grace, and truth. This is how peace becomes stronger. This is how the mind learns not only to be quiet, but to be loving. So as you begin each morning, let this lesson stand beside you. Speak kindly to yourself, not just when you have done everything well, not just when life feels easy. Speak kindly to yourself, because this is how healing grows. Speak kindly to yourself, because love builds what fear cannot. Speak kindly to yourself, because your mind is listening, your heart is listening, your body is listening. Let your first inner words be like warm light entering a room. Let them soften the places inside you that have been hard for too long. Let them remind you that peace is not earned through pressure. Peace is allowed through love. Once you begin the morning with stillness, breath, clear thoughts, and a kind inner voice, another important lesson begins to open. Let go of fear and trust life. Fear is one of the quickest ways to disturb the morning mind. It enters early, it speaks loudly, it tries to take control before the day has even begun. It says, something will go wrong, you are not ready, you must control everything, you cannot relax yet, you are not safe unless you keep worrying. Many people have lived with this voice for so long that they think it is wisdom. But fear and wisdom are not the same. Fear tightens, wisdom steadies, fear rushes, wisdom breathes, fear tries to control, wisdom knows how to trust one step at a time. A strong mind is not a mind without feeling. It is a mind that does not let fear sit on the throne. Fear may appear, and that is human, but it does not have to lead. It does not have to tell you what this day means. It does not have to shape your mood, your body, your choices, and your energy before anything has even happened. You are allowed to notice fear without obeying it. You are allowed to say, I hear you, but I choose something deeper. I choose calm. I choose trust. I choose to begin the day from a place larger than fear. Fear often enters the morning through the need to control. The mind says, if I can just think ahead enough, plan enough, prepare enough, then maybe nothing will hurt me. Maybe nothing will surprise me. Maybe I will finally feel safe. But control does not always bring peace. Very often it brings tension. It makes the mind feel like it must hold the whole day at once. It asks the heart to live in constant readiness. It keeps the body from fully relaxing, and even then, life still moves in its own way. Not everything can be planned, not everything can be prevented, not everything can be solved before it arrives. This is why control can become such a heavy burden. There is another way to live. It is the way of trust. Trust does not mean you stop caring. It does not mean you stop taking wise action. It means you stop trying to carry what was never yours to carry all at once. It means you stop demanding that life show you every answer before you take the next breath. It means you allow the day to unfold with more openness. It means you remember that you can meet life as it comes instead of trying to conquer it before it arrives. Trust makes the mind softer, and in that softness there is real strength. When fear leads the morning, even small things can feel dangerous. A delay feels like a threat. A problem feels like proof that nothing works out. A quiet moment feels uncomfortable because the mind is waiting for something bad. But when trust leads the morning, the same life is experienced differently. A delay becomes something you can move through. A problem becomes one moment, not the whole day. Uncertainty becomes a place where you breathe instead of panic. Trust changes your relationship with what happens. It does not always change events right away, but it changes the way you carry them, and that matters deeply. Many people think trust is something you either have or do not have, but trust is a practice. It is built like peace is built, one gentle choice at a time. It is built when you feel the mind rushing into fear, and you choose one slow breath. It is built when you stop asking how you will solve the whole future and instead ask, what is the next peaceful step? It is built when you remember how many times life has carried you before. It is built when you stop treating uncertainty as proof of danger and begin meeting it with steadiness. In the morning, fear often speaks in the language of urgency. It tells you to hurry inside. It tells you that if you are not already anxious, then you are not prepared. It tells you that peace is foolish and trust is risky, but this is not truth. Peace is not carelessness. Trust is not weakness. They are forms of deep inner alignment. They allow you to think more clearly, respond more wisely, and protect your energy from unnecessary suffering. Fear can make you feel busy, but trust helps you become centered, and from that center, you move through the day with greater power. To let go of fear does not mean you never feel it. It means you stop feeding it first thing in the morning. It means you do not make it your guide. It means you do not hand it the first quiet minutes of the day and let it shape the whole emotional tone. Instead, you begin with another truth. You begin with, I do not need to know everything right now. You begin with, I will meet this day one moment at a time. You begin with, life is not against me. You begin with, I am supported as I move. These thoughts create room inside you. They loosen the grip of fear. Trusting life begins with very small acts. It begins when you stop checking for danger before you check in with your own heart. It begins when you allow one peaceful moment before the mind starts planning everything. It begins when you accept that not every answer is needed at sunrise. It begins when you let yourself feel held by the day instead of attacked by it. This may sound simple, but it changes the whole direction of your energy. A person who begins with fear braces against life. A person who begins with trust opens to it. One spends energy resisting, the other begins to receive. There is something deeply healing about saying to yourself in the morning, I trust life enough to take one step at a time. That sentence alone can soften so much inner pressure. It reminds the mind that it does not have to solve the whole path now. It reminds the heart that the future does not need to be held all at once. It reminds the body that it can breathe. This kind of trust does not deny that life has hard moments. It simply refuses to suffer them before they arrive. It refuses to let imagined fear become the ruler of the present moment. Fear also loves to speak through the idea that you are alone in everything. It tells you that you must manage it all by yourself. Think of everything, protect against everything, and never rest. But life has never truly asked you to carry yourself alone. There is support in breath, there is support in wisdom, there is support in grace. There is support in the quiet strength that rises when you return to the present. There is support in the way solutions appear when the mind is calm enough to see them. Trusting life means remembering that you are not abandoned inside the day. You are part of life, and life is still moving with you. Sometimes trust looks like waiting without panic. Sometimes it looks like doing the next small thing instead of trying to control everything. Sometimes it looks like resting when fear tells you to keep pushing. Sometimes it looks like saying, I do not understand this yet, but I choose peace anyway. This is a beautiful kind of courage. It is not loud, it is not dramatic, but it is real. It is the courage to release the belief that fear is the only thing that can keep you safe. A peaceful mind grows stronger each time it chooses trust over fear. It learns that not ever high uncertain moment becomes disaster. It learns that calm is possible even when the future is not fully known. It learns that life can be met with openness instead of constant defense. Over time, this changes the whole atmosphere of your mornings. You no longer wake up preparing for battle. You wake up preparing to live. You wake up willing to move with the day instead of against it. This lesson becomes even more powerful when you join trust with your morning breath. Inhale and receive the new day. Exhale and release what fear is trying to make you carry too early. Inhale and feel the truth that you are here now. Exhale and let go of the need to control the whole day before it begins. Inhale and remember that peace is available. Exhale and soften the old habit of worry. The breath becomes a physical way of practicing trust. It helps the body learn what the heart is trying to believe. You may still have mornings when fear rises quickly. That does not mean you are failing. It only means the practice is needed. When fear rises, do not rush to fight it. Sit with it gently. Breathe, and then speak truth into the morning. Say, I release what I do not need to carry right now. Say, I trust this day to unfold one step at a time. Say, I am safe in this moment. Say, peace will guide me better than fear. These simple truths begin to shift the inner weather. They help fear loosen its hold. When you trust life, you stop living like every day is a test you must pass perfectly. You begin living like each day is something you can walk through with presence, care, and faith. You stop pushing yourself into fear to feel responsible. You discover that calm can be responsible too. You discover that a peaceful mind makes wiser choices than a frightened one. You discover that trust is not passive at all. It is active, alive, and deeply grounding. It lets you remain open enough to receive guidance, beauty, help, and new strength. So let this lesson settle deeply into your morning. Let go of fear. Trust life. Not because everything is easy, but because fear is too small a place to live from. Not because you know all the answers, but because you do not need all the answers to begin in peace. Not because you control the day, but because you can choose how you meet it. Let trust become the quiet strength beneath your thoughts. Let it soften your body. Let it steady your breath. Let it open your heart. And as you begin this day, let one gentle truth guide you forward. I do not have to fear this morning in order to live it well. I can begin in trust, and that trust can carry me further than fear ever could. After you begin the day with stillness, breath, clear thoughts, kindness, and trust. The next lesson is to choose gratitude and positive focus. This does not mean you pretend life is perfect. It does not mean you ignore pain, problems, or hard seasons. It means you decide what kind of inner light you will carry as you move through the day. Gratitude helps you remember what is still good. Positive focus helps you place your energy where life can grow. Together, they help the mind become stronger, steadier, and more peaceful. Many people begin the day by noticing what is missing. They notice what is still wrong, what has not happened yet, what they do not like, what they fear, or what feels heavy. The mind can become trained to search for lack before it searches for blessing. When that happens, even beautiful things can pass by unseen. The morning can be full of small gifts, and yet the heart feels empty because the mind has already chosen worry as its main focus. This is why gratitude matters. Gratitude teaches the mind to see differently. It opens the eyes of the heart. Gratitude does not ask you to deny what is difficult. It asks you to make room for what is also true. Yes, you may still have challenges. Yes, some parts of life may still feel uncertain. But there is also breath in your body. There is also light in the sky. There is also another chance to begin again. There is also wisdom growing in you. There is also something steady within you that can meet this day with grace. Gratitude helps you hold both things at once. It helps you stay honest without becoming lost in heaviness. When you begin the morning with gratitude, something inside you softens. The mind stops closing so tightly around fear. The heart opens a little more. The body relaxes. You begin to feel that life is not only a list of duties and pressures, it is also a place where goodness still lives. Sometimes that goodness is quiet. Sometimes it is small. Sometimes it comes in very simple forms. But it is there. Gratitude helps you notice it. And what you notice begins to shape how you feel. A grateful morning does not have to be complicated. It can begin with one simple thought. Thank you for this new day. It can begin with noticing the comfort of the bed, the fresh air, the sound of morning, the gift of another breath. It can begin with saying, thank you for the strength that carried me to this moment. It can begin with thanking life for another chance to learn, heal, grow, and love. These small moments of gratitude are powerful because they change the direction of the mind before stress has the chance to take over. The mind always moves toward what it focuses on. If you focus first on pressure, the day begins to feel tight. If you focus first on fear, the day begins to feel unsafe. If you focus first on lack, the day begins to feel empty. But if you focus first on gratitude, the day begins with a different tone. There is more openness. There is more trust. There is more room to see possibility. This is why positive focus is not about false hope. It is about wise direction. It is about choosing where your attention will rest. Positive focus means you choose to place your attention on what supports peace instead of what feeds fear. It means you do not allow your to spend the first moments of the day only repeating what could go wrong. It means you gently direct your mind toward what is good, what is healing, what is possible, and what is true. This focus becomes a kind of inner training. Over time, the mind becomes less eager to rush toward darkness. It becomes more willing to notice support, beauty, kindness, and growth. What you focus on grows stronger inside you. If you give all your attention to what you fear, fear becomes louder. If you give all your attention to what is lacking, lack becomes the feeling of the day. But if you give your attention to what is good, good begins to have more room in you. This is one of the quiet laws of life. Attention is energy. What you feed with attention begins to shape your experience. This is why a peaceful morning mind must learn how to focus with wisdom. There are many ways to practice this. In the morning, ask yourself, what is one thing I can be grateful for right now? Ask, what is one good thing I want to carry into this day? Ask, what truth will I focus on before the noise begins? Your answers may be very simple. You may say, I am grateful for breath. I am grateful for this moment of peace. I am grateful for the chance to begin again. I will carry trust into this day. I will focus on peace. I will focus on the love that still lives in me. These simple choices create an inner path. Positive focus also protects the heart from becoming too heavy too early. There are enough things in life that ask for your energy. There is no need to begin the day by handing your full attention to struggle before the day even shows you what it holds. When you choose gratitude and positive focus, you are not avoiding life. You are preparing your spirit to meet life in a better way. You are giving yourself a stronger foundation. You are helping your mind become a place where hope can live. Hope is deeply connected to positive focus. Hope is not pretending that every moment will be easy. Hope is the quiet belief that good is still possible. Hope says, something beautiful can still grow here. Hope says, peace can still guide me today. Hope says, I may not see the whole path, but I do not need to begin in darkness. Gratitude feeds hope because it reminds you that not everything is lost. Something is still working in your favor. Something is still supporting your becoming. When you practice gratitude each morning, you also begin to notice how much of life you once overlooked. You notice the peace of a slow breath. You notice the gift of silence. You notice the comfort of morning light. You notice the small courage it takes to begin again. These things may seem ordinary, but they are not empty. They carry life. They carry support. They carry reminders that you are not living in a world made only of pressure. You are living in a world where grace still appears in quiet ways. There will be mornings when gratitude feels easy and mornings when it feels harder on the hair. Dear mornings, do not force big feelings. Begin small. Be grateful for one breath. Be grateful for one moment of stillness. Be grateful that you are here. Be grateful that healing is still possible. Sometimes the smallest gratitude is the most honest one, and honest gratitude is enough. It opens the heart just a little, and sometimes that little opening is where the morning begins to change. Positive focus also means speaking to yourself in a way that supports good growth. You can say, "Today I choose to notice what is good." You can say, "Today I welcome peace." You can say, "Today I will not let fear take all of my attention." You can say, "There is good in this day, and I am open to seeing it." These words help guide the mind back when it tries to move too quickly toward worry. They become gentle reminders that your attention is valuable and should be used with care. The more you practice gratitude and positive focus, the more natural they become. The mind begins to search for light instead of immediately searching for threat. The heart becomes less guarded. The body feels less rushed. Your day still has movement, but it carries a different energy. You begin to notice moments of beauty, support, kindness, and grace that once would have been missed. You begin to feel that peace is not only something you try to create, it is also something you learn to notice. So let this lesson become part of your morning rhythm. Before the world gives you its noise, give yourself gratitude. Before fear tries to shape your focus, choose what is good. Before the day pulls your attention in many directions, place your heart somewhere true. Say thank you for this day. Say I choose to see the good that is here. Say I welcome peace, hope, and blessing into my morning. Let gratitude open the heart. Let positive focus steady the mind. Let both of them help you build the strong and peaceful inner life that your whole day will rest upon. As the morning continues, another lesson becomes clear. Protect your energy and stay centered. A peaceful mind is not only built by what you add, it is also protected by what you refuse to let in too early. The first part of the day is delicate. Your energy is fresh. Your mind is open. Your heart is more receiving. This is why it matters what you expose yourself to, what you think about, what you listen to, and how quickly you give your attention away. If you do not protect your energy in the morning, the world can scatter it before your spirit has even had time to fully arrive. Energy is precious. It is not only your physical strength, it is your attention, your emotional space, your focus, your inner calm, your ability to choose wisely, and your sense of peace. Many people give this energy away too quickly in the morning. They wake and immediately enter noise, urgency, stress, comparison, or mental overload. Then they wonder why they feel drained so early. The truth is simple. What you touch first in the morning touches you deeply in return. That is why protecting your energy matters. It is how you guard the peace you are trying to build. To protect your energy means you become more mindful of what gets your first attention. Not every voice deserves your first thought. Not every problem deserves your first emotion. Not every demand deserves your first breath. There is wisdom in saying, before I give my mind to the world, I will first ground myself in peace before I let outside noise shape me. I will return to my center. This is not selfish, it is wise. A person who begins the day centered is more able to give, serve, work, and love without losing themselves. Many people mistake being centered for being distant or closed, but being centered does not mean shutting life out. It means staying connected to yourself while life moves around you. It means remembering where your inner ground is. It means not letting every outside thing pull you away from your own calm. A centered person can still care deeply, work fully, and respond with love. But they do not lose their whole inner balance each time something changes. They stay rooted, and that rootedness is one of the deepest forms of strength. Morning is the best time to practice staying centered because this is when the tone of the whole day is set. If you begin scattered, it can take a long time to gather yourself again. If you begin centered, you carry that feeling into everything else. Being centered can be as simple as breathing slowly before speaking, sitting quietly before checking anything, or choosing one truth to hold as the day begins. It can be as simple as feeling your feet on the floor and remembering, I am here. I do not need to be pulled in every direction at once. Protecting your energy also means being careful with worry. Worry can feel productive, but very often it only drains. It steals peace from the present and gives it to imagined trouble. In the morning, worry can quickly fill the mind with noise that has not earned a place there. This is why part of protecting your energy is learning not to rehearse fear before the day begins. You can say, I will deal with what is real when it comes, but I will not fill this morning with imagined weight. That choice alone can save so much energy. Another part of protecting your energy is noticing what weakens your spirit early in the day. Perhaps it is rushing. Perhaps it is inner criticism. Perhaps it is taking on the mood of the world too quickly. Perhaps it is entering pressure before you have even taken one conscious breath. Whatever it is, the morning is the time to become honest. What drains you does not need to lead you. What harms your center does not deserve your first attention. The more clearly you see this, the more wisely you can shape your morning. To stay centered, it helps to create one inner anchor. This anchor may be your breath. It may be a short prayer. It may be an affirmation. It may be a hand on your heart. It may be a moment of silence. The form matters less than the truth behind it. The anchor is there to remind you who you are before the day begins to define you by tasks, roles, and demands. It helps you return to yourself. It helps you remember that you are not only a person who must do, you are also a being who must remain connected to inner peace. One simple way to stay centered is to ask yourself in the morning, what do I want to carry, and what do I want to leave behind? Perhaps you want to carry calm, gratitude, trust, and clarity. Perhaps you want to leave behind hurry, fear, doubt, and yesterday's weight. This question helps the mind become intentional. It stops the day from beginning by accident. It gives your spirit direction. It reminds you that you are not powerless in how you begin. You have the right to shape your inner atmosphere with care. Protecting your energy also means understanding that peace is easily disturbed when you do not value it. If you treat peace like a small thing, the world will take it quickly. But if you treat peace like something sacred, you begin to protect it. You become less willing to begin the day in chaos. You become less willing to let every outside pressure enter your heart too soon. You become more careful with what you allow into your morning mind. This is not fear, this is wisdom. It is the wisdom of knowing that your inner life matters. A centered morning makes the whole day feel different. Even when challenges come, you do not feel as easily thrown off. You may still feel emotion, but you recover more quickly. You may still face pressure, but it does not take over your whole nervous system so easily. You may still have hard moments, but there is a part of you that remembers how the day began. That memory becomes a place of return. It becomes a quiet room inside you that says, "Come back, breathe, you are still here. Peace is still possible." There is also great beauty in learning that protecting your energy does not require hardness. You do not need to become cold or closed. You do not need to fear the world. You only need to begin the day with enough care that your spirit is not lost before noon. This care may look like silence. It may look like prayer. It may look like breathing slowly and not rushing to answer everything. It may look like speaking gently to yourself before speaking to anyone else. These are small acts, but they build a powerful center. The more you protect your energy, the more you begin to feel the difference between what nourishes you and what scatters you. You notice how peace feels in the body. You notice when your mind starts moving too fast. You notice when something is pulling you away from your center. And because you notice, you can return sooner. This is how inner strength grows, not by never being moved, but by learning how to come back to yourself with grace. So let this lesson settle into your morning. Protect your energy. Stay centered. Do not be the whole world your first fresh thoughts. Do not let noise claim your spirit before peace has had a chance to speak. Begin with what anchors you. Begin with what steadies you. Begin with what helps you stay rooted in yourself. And as you move into the day, carry this quiet truth within you. My energy is precious, my peace matters, and I can stay centered even while life continues to move around me. After stillness, breath, clear thoughts, kindness, trust, gratitude, positive focus, and protected energy, one final morning lesson brings all the others together. Set the day with intention. Intention is the gentle power that gives direction to your energy. It is not force. It is not pressure. It is not trying to control every result. It is the quiet inner decision about how you will walk through the day. It is the choice that says, before the world begins to shape me, I will choose the spirit in which I want to live today. Many people begin the day without intention, and so the day begins shaping them before they have shaped themselves. Their mood is decided by the first problem. Their energy is decided by the first pressure. Their thoughts are decided by habit. Their heart is pulled by whatever appears first, but intention changes that. Intention says, I will begin with awareness. I will not let the day happen only to me. I will also meet it with a clear inner direction. This changes the way the whole day is experienced. Intention is simple, but it is deeply powerful. A single sentence can guide the whole emotional tone of the day. You may say, today I choose peace. You may say, today I move with strength and softness. You may say, today I trust life one step at a time. You may say, today I protect my energy and speak kindly to myself. These words are not only ideas, they become like a path under your feet. They help you remember who you want to be when stress rises, when fear returns, or when the world becomes loud. The beauty of intention is that it gives the mind something meaningful to return to. Without intention, the mind easily becomes scattered. It chases whatever is loudest. It reacts to whatever is nearest. But with intention, there is a center. There is something steady to come back to. If your intention is peace, then when the day becomes rushed, you remember your direction. If your intention is trust, then when fear appears, you remember what you chose. If your intention is kindness, then when the inner voice becomes hard, you remember how you wanted to speak to yourself. Intention becomes a guide. A strong morning intention is clear, gentle, and true. It does not need to be long. In fact, the simplest intentions often go deepest because they can be remembered easily. Today I choose peace. Today I walk with trust. Today I stay centered. Today I receive this day with gratitude. Today I lead my mind with love. Each of these carries power because each one gives your energy a direction that supports healing and strength. The mind responds well to what is clear. Setting intention is also a spiritual act. It is a way of bringing your heart into agreement with the life you want to live. It is the moment where your inner world says yes to something higher than fear, habit, or old pain. It is the place where you remember that every day is not only a list of things to do, it is also a field where energy is planted. The intention you set in the morning becomes one of the first seeds of the day. It shapes how you think, how you speak, how you respond, and what kind of atmosphere you carry with you. You do not need to know what the whole day will bring in order to set a good intention. That is one of the gifts of this practice. Intention is not based on perfect knowledge. It is based on inner choice. You may not know every event that is coming, but you can still decide how you want to meet life. You can decide that fear will not lead you. You can decide that peace matters. You can decide that your words will carry kindness. You can decide that gratitude will have a place in your morning. These decisions help you move with more steadiness, whatever the day brings. A beautiful way to set intention is to do it right after a few quiet breaths. Let the body soften first. Let the mind settle a little. Then ask yourself, how do I want to walk through this day? What quality do I most need today? Is it peace, patience, courage, trust, grace, focus, softness, strength, openness, or calm? Let the answer rise gently, then turn it into a sentence. Today I choose patience. Today I walk with courage. Today I return to calm again and again. This practice makes your mornings more alive with meaning. Intention also protects you from drifting too far from yourself. Throughout the day, many forces will try to pull you outward. You may forget your breath. You may feel pressure. You may become tired or reactive. But if you began with intention, something inside you will remember. That memory matters. It becomes a quiet voice that says, "Come back to what you chose this morning. Come back to peace. Come back to trust. Come back to the way you wanted to carry yourself." Even if you lose your way for a moment, intention gives you a path back. This is important because no one lives a day perfectly. Even with a beautiful morning, there may still be moments of stress, frustration, or fear. But intention keeps one hard moment from becoming the whole atmosphere of the day. It reminds you that you are larger than one reaction. It reminds you that you can begin again at any point. The day does not have to be lost because one moment was difficult. Intention says, return, remember, start again from what is true. Setting intention each morning also builds self-trust. It teaches you that you can lead your inner life with awareness. You are not only at the mercy of old patterns, you can choose another way. You can create new habits. You can begin to shape your days with care. Over time, this becomes deeply empowering. You stop feeling that life is always happening too fast for you to have any say in how you live it. You begin to feel your own spiritual participation again. You remember that your inner direction matters. Some mornings your intention will come easily. Other mornings you may feel tired, uncertain, or distracted. Even then, keep it simple. Let the intention be small and honest. Today I choose one peaceful breath at a time. Today I will be gentle with myself. Today I will not rush my heart. Today I will stay open to grace. A simple intention is still powerful if it is true. What matters is not making the perfect sentence. What matters is that you begin your day with conscious direction rather than unconscious habit. You may even notice that different seasons of life ask for different intentions. In one season, you may need trust. In another, patience. In another, courage. In another, softness. Let your intention meet your real need. Let it become personal. Let it speak to the place in you that most needs support. This makes the practice deeper. It turns the morning into a meeting between your present life and your deeper wisdom. As you repeat your intention quietly to yourself, let it enter the body, not just the mind. If your intention is peace, Feel what peace might be like in your shoulders, your breath, your eyes, your voice. If your intention is trust, feel what trust might be like in your chest, your thoughts, your pace. If your intention is kindness, feel what kindness might sound like in the words you say to yourself all day long. In this way, intention becomes more than language. It becomes embodiment. It becomes lived energy. So let this final lesson become part of your morning practice. Set the day with intention. Do not leave your energy without direction. Do not begin without choosing what kind of spirit you want to carry. Give the day a center before the world tries to scatter it. Speak one simple truth over your morning. Let it guide your mind. Let it soften your body. Let it steady your heart. Let it become the thread that runs quietly through every hour that follows. Today I choose peace. Today I choose trust. Today I choose to move through life with a strong and peaceful mind. As the morning comes fully alive, let yourself pause once more and gather everything you have placed inside your heart. You began with stillness. You returned to the breath. You watched your first thoughts and guided them gently. You chose kindness instead of inner pressure. You let go of fear and leaned into trust. You opened yourself to gratitude and turned your focus toward what is good. You protected your energy and stayed close to your center. You set an intention for the day ahead. Now let all of these truths settle softly into you. Let them become more than ideas. Let them become the feeling of how you begin. You do not need to carry the day all at once. You do not need to solve every question before the morning is over. You do not need to prove your worth by rushing, worrying, or pushing yourself into tension. The day will unfold in its own time. What matters now is the spirit in which you enter it. A peaceful mind is not created by accident. It is created by care. It is created by the way you breathe, the way you think, the way you speak to yourself, the way you choose trust over fear, and the way you return to your own center again and again. There is something beautiful about beginning the day in this way. You feel less scattered. You feel less pulled by every outside thing. You feel that there is a quiet place within you that has not been lost. And from that place, you can walk into the day with more grace. The tasks may still be there. The responsibilities may still be real. The world may still be busy. But you are not entering it empty. You are entering it rooted. You are entering it with inner ground beneath you. You are entering it with peace already planted. A soft morning does not make you weak. It makes you clear. It helps you respond instead of react. It helps you see instead of panic. It helps you move through the day without leaving yourself behind. This is what true strength feels like. It is not hard and cold. It is calm and steady. It is the kind of strength that can stay gentle without falling apart. It is the kind of strength that knows how to breathe in the middle of uncertainty. It is the kind of strength that does not need fear to function. So before you move fully into the rest of your day, let your heart hear a few simple truths again. My mind is calm. My heart is strong. I begin this day with peace. I welcome this new day with trust. I am safe, guided, and supported. Life is with me. Goodness is possible today. I do not have to rush my spirit. I do not have to carry more than this moment asks of me. These words are not empty. They are reminders. They are a way of returning to the truth you want to live from. If the day becomes busy later, come back to one of these truths. If your mind begins to race, return to your breath. If fear rises, choose trust again. If the world pulls too hard on your attention, return to your center. If you forget for a while, begin again. Peace is not lost because you have one difficult moment. Peace can be returned to. That is one of the great gifts of this practice. Morning teaches you not only how to begin the day, but how to begin again within the day whenever you need to. Let the rest of this morning unfold gently. Carry yourself with care. Speak to yourself with love. Let your pace reflect your peace. Let your thoughts reflect your intention. Let your energy stay close to what matters most. You do not need to be perfect at any of this. You only need to keep returning, little by little, morning by morning. These small acts become art of who you are. They begin to shape the whole atmosphere of your life. What once felt difficult becomes more natural. What once felt far away begins to feel like home. So take one more slow breath. Feel the air move in and out. Feel your body soften. Feel your mind grow quiet. Feel your heart remember what it already knows. Peace lives here. Strength lives here. Grace lives here. This day does not have to begin in fear. It can begin in love. It can begin in trust. It can begin in calm. And from that beginning, so much becomes possible. A strong and peaceful mind is built in the way you begin. It is built in stillness, in breath, in the thoughts you choose, in the kindness you offer yourself, in the trust you practice, in the gratitude you hold, in the energy you protect, and in the intention you set. These are not small things. They are the quiet foundations of a better day and, over time, a better life. Each morning gives you another chance to return to what matters. Each morning gives you another chance to begin from peace instead of pressure. So as you go forward, remember this simple truth. You do not have to wake into struggle. You can wake into presence. You can teach your mind a gentler way. You can train your heart to begin with peace. You can let your mornings become a place of healing instead of hurry. And the more you do, the more your life begins to reflect that inner change. Your thoughts become steadier. Your choices become wiser. Your energy becomes calmer. Your spirit feels less lost in the noise of the world. Let this be your morning practice now. Breathe, notice, choose, trust, give thanks. Protect your peace. Set your intention. Begin again. And each day, as the light returns, let these words rise softly within you. My mind is calm. My heart is strong. I welcome this day with peace. I am guided, supported, and ready to walk through today with grace.